Hello everybody, welcome to this video titled Exploring Navigation Part 1. Now, my name is Craig Kreskes. I'm a partner solution architect here at Microsoft, and I want to make sure that I caveat this demo as not a way for you as a partner to actually demo that to customers. This is for somebody brand new to Business Central, just to help you understand the navigation and just shortcut your learnings. Now, as I mentioned, this is part 1 of a 3-part series. I'm going to focus part 1 video on just how do you leverage the homepage in demos. The second video will be focused on list pages. And part 3, I'm going to show you some of the shortcuts you can do to really shine your presentation of Business Central around data entry and improving and increasing productivity for end users. So let's get started. So again, the first video is all around how do I leverage the homepage as a pre-sales engineer. Now, once you get your demonstration environment up and running, this is the first time that you've started your trial. First thing I always do is I expand the homepage. The next thing I could do is show some of the tours depending on your audience. Maybe you want to just show them some of the features that we on the engineering team at Microsoft are helping to address any of the learning curves and any user adoption. And so you could see here that Business Central provides a checklist of items starting with a first look and then maybe segueing into using Excel and then sharing with teams. To start the tour, you'll see here it just uses the tooltip. I can hit next, next, and then follow along. Whenever you're done, of course, you can close that out. You can select got it. And if you want to adjust this, for me in my demonstration, once I know how the tooltips work, I can come into settings, into company information. I hit general. I also want to make sure that I enable the premium features in my trial. So I'll select OK. If you wanted to use a badge, you can use a custom badge, putting in a text. You can have a badge style based on color. That's up to you. And then you can see here as I'm expanding and collapsing on the fact box here to open up and close. So you can close that screen and you're outside of the settings. Now under activity queues, for partners who want to leverage those tiles, an easy way to do that would be to change the ongoing sales quotes. And I'll leave that up to you here. So if you select on that and you tab across here, you can choose the low range style as none, so no color. And that threshold would be 0. Anything in the middle range, you could see here is unfavorable, so from 0 to 30. And anything over 30 in the high range is favorable. And then you make sure you just turn on that checkbox, turn it on. Now again, you can see here with my ongoing sales quotes, that's between 0 and 30, so that tile is going to turn red. Again, these are also tiles that you could interact with. So you click on the sales orders. And again, here, I'll talk about these tool tips in a moment, or these teaching tips, because you may want to turn that off or disable them. They're great in the beginning, but maybe towards the end of your learning process, you find them to be a little distracting. So I'll show you how to turn those off. But to close that out. And then one of the shortcut features that I use almost extensively in my navigation is the Alt Q. So that's a combination of the Alt key and the Q key, and that opens up global search. We'll type in videos, and again, depending on your audience, maybe you want to highlight the fact that there are embedded videos inside of Business Central. And again, we're all here thinking through how do I help reduce the learning curve for a brand new end user. And maybe these short 2 to 3 minute videos, this one on setting up sales tax, is relevant for your audience. So again, just letting you know that that's going to be in there. Again, same thing, Alt Q. And for the first time that you open up your tenant, I want to make sure that you are familiar with the feature management. This is where all of the new features that are slowly being introduced into the application. You can learn more about this with the links. And then you can see on the right side whether or not that's been enabled. I'll close out of that area, and then again, Alt Q, and go ahead and type in a datum. And this is a feature that came out not too long ago, but I wanted to point out for your own knowledge, again, here on the home page, is I can do a search on one of my customers' vendors And you can see here, for example, I typed in a datum. I had search company data. And now you can see I have everything about the contacts all the way including posted sales invoices. So global search is available again to navigate windows, forms, reports. But as I showed, you can also leverage that to learn a little bit more about the data. As I mentioned earlier, again, you could go into settings, into my settings, and control the notifications. So what this does is, and I turn off some of these in my demo environment because while it might be relevant in a production environment, I don't want to be warned every time I'm logging in and out of an unposted document. So I'll leave that up to you. This is the full list of features or areas that have been enabled. I go in and deselect some of these. I find them not to be as relevant. Once I'm done, I'll close. And now that is off again, the notifications. And again, we're all trying to make this demonstration just look easier for someone who may not have seen Business Central before. Under the role, again, Business Central comes included with many different home pages, role-based home pages. And I just want you as a partner to be familiar with the different look and feel. And so choose one that might be relevant for an upcoming opportunity. In my scenario, I often like to point out to partners that there is an embedded CRM experience. Again, you can see that through the lens of a sales and relationship manager. When you click OK and you click OK again, it's going to log you out and then it should log you right back into Business Central. Now, here you notice immediately the difference in the role-based homepage. Instead of having financial information and posted ledgers, you can see I have contacts under the activities, I have opportunities, open sales, etc. You can also quickly toggle between multiple companies using that icon. And then if I come back into the My Settings, you can return back to the Business Manager. Now keep in mind, for those of you who are new, there's a Business Manager role and a Business Manager evaluation. When you first start up a trial of Business Central, it will be default to that evaluation, and it's designed to just help people navigate and learn the product simple. But again, for me, as a pre-sales engineer, I want to make sure that I have all the features running, and I go ahead and select OK. If you want to get back and get the demo tours off of your screen, you could collapse that. And here you can see I've got my headlines. I can quickly open up reports, look at some of the financial statements, scroll down, put a filter in here so I can see, again, filters on the date of our demo data. And I can schedule that to run. And what this is going to do, it's going to run inside the report inbox. So if you scroll down, once you schedule that, you'll see here in the report inbox. And again, I'm always thinking about how do we give our end users, prospects who have never been familiar with Business Central, that simple or minimal click experience here. So for example, I open up the customer statements, and here you can see right from within that homepage, I was able to see that report. Now, I can also have this available inside of my OneDrive. So what that does, it's going to create a linkage between the report inbox and my OneDrive. So here you can see the statements are available. If I close that report, now again, I've got my Business Central, my company reports here inside of my OneDrive. Let's return back to Business Central. And over the years, we would always get new partners, new prospects, kind of trying to understand what's included in that role. And so you could explore all the different roles and departments here from that homepage. If I close that out, and then if you're looking for something in particular that is available for the business manager, like for example, I typed in cash, I can shortcut to all the areas that has cash associated with it. In this case here, the cash flow account, cash flow forecasts, etc. And then I can explore more roles. For example, if I wanted to see, what's included in the web services. And then you'll find, and I use this quite a bit for demonstration preparation, is to bookmark a page. So if there's something that you need to quickly access to, now that web services is right here. So I don't have to use the global search. I can just have it right as a single click. The other thing I wanted to mention here and personalize under the settings, there may be areas that you do not want to be prevalent on the homepage. So for example, If I want to make sure that Intelligent Cloud Insights is available, I can explore that. And maybe the Shopify is something I don't want. I don't have a e-commerce solution that I'm presenting to. And again, just so that I don't have to make it any more complex in learning a new application. I hope that gives you just a brief introduction. Again, this is the first video on the breadth and the power of how you can leverage the homepage inside of Business Central. Now, again, this is part of a 3-part videos of just getting started. This one was focused on the homepage. I want to say thank you so much for your time and attention, and I look forward to seeing you again on a video real soon.